Afghanistan, a nation desperate for reconstruction. On August 15, 2021, the Taliban, an Islamic fundamentalist organization, threw down the Afghan government to take over the capital Kabul. The newly established Taliban regime promises to rebuild a nation torn between 2 decades of war and anarchy. A state that has fallen into the mercy of international trade is poised to face an economic collapse that may very well destroy half the population. Today, we'll look at how the new government, Taliban 2.0, looks to tackle this upcoming doom and how the nation can utilize its local assets to avoid the humanitarian crisis. Terrorist and Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, the notorious culprit behind the 9/11 attacks in USA, took shelter under the previous regime of the Taliban government from 1996 to 2001 in Afghanistan. This 6-year Taliban rule in Afghanistan ended when the invasion of the US came with the agenda to destroy all terrorist Al-Qaeda groups and overthrow the Taliban government. Thus followed a 20-year military excursion of Afghanistan. After years of instability, fighting and wars, the Taliban has overthrown the governing body of Afghanistan under the President Ashraf Ghani's rule in a countrywide rapid offensive that started in May 2021. Taliban leaders say they want to focus on rebuilding Afghanistan. A nation that has been on the international media more than any country in the world now faces the biggest challenge to put back pieces of a crumbling state in order. During the past 20 years, the Afghan government primarily relied upon foreign aid to fund its national budget, instead of fighting corruption and building a real sustainable economy. The US has currently frozen access to Afghanistan's reserves, rendering the Taliban incapable of paying for the imports that feed the country. The UN said that at the start of the year 2021, more than 18 million people, about half of Afghanistan's population, require aid amidst the country's second drought in 4 years. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said last week that Afghanistan is on the verge of dramatic humanitarian disaster. China and Russia in particular have urged the US to unfreeze Afghan assets to prevent a humanitarian crisis. China has announced that it is offering at least $31 million worth of emergency aid, including coronavirus vaccines, to Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the United Nations has raised $1 billion in emergency assistance. If immediate actions are not taken, it is believed that 97% of Afghans could fall into poverty. According to the UNFPA, 64% of Afghans are under 25 years old. Educating them in accordance with the international standards will allow the country to move forward towards self-reliance in the long run. Almost 3.1 million Afghan children are faced with malnutrition. Addressing this is critical to preventing a humanitarian catastrophe, and for that, a strengthened health sector is essential.